New York is not a lot of fun right now. I'm not saying that people shouldn't come here, and neither is any one person or one event either. It's not the health officials, it's not the government, it's not the virus, which is spiking again in certain parts of the city, and it's not the closed bars, theaters, and restaurants that you can't visit anymore. It's all of those things together as a whole that are broadcasting to the world that it's not a great time to be in New York City. But what if you had to be here? Or what if you're here right now? Should you stay? Well, let's go look at some apartments and answer that question for ourselves. Now, when you first get to New York City, depending on where you're from, you might have to quarantine for a few days. The quarantine period is 14 days, and if you were planning on coming here for like a short-term trip, that might not be possible if 2 weeks need to be spent in either a hotel room or an apartment just like this one. This is actually not too bad of an apartment. It's a one-bedroom, it's $24.95. It's got laundry, kitchen's got pretty much everything. There's a dishwasher, and there's also a pretty good amount of space. The living room looks like it's a decent size, and so does the bedroom. The living room's 14 feet 4 inches by 10 feet 4 inches, and it looks like the bedroom is 9 feet 10 inches by 8 feet. Also, there's a little balcony right here off the side of the bedroom. It's pretty small, and since it's raining, I'm not gonna open it, but I think having it's definitely kind of cool. But the real question is, could you stay in an apartment like this or a hotel room that's smaller than this and do nothing for 2 weeks or possibly even longer if there's a second shutdown? And that's actually something that a lot of people are concerned about. Right now, certain areas of the city are shut down because there have been an increase in virus cases. And if more areas need to be locked down or that starts to spread, things could go back to the way they were in March of 2020, where everything was basically closed. At first, everyone thought it was going to be okay because the lockdown was only supposed to last 2 weeks, but here we are several months later, and there's no sign that things are going to be back to normal anytime soon. And that's giving a lot of people serious hesitations on whether or not they should come here in the first place. And if you're thinking of coming here, that's probably something that is on your mind as well. It looks like this apartment is a 2-bedroom. One of the bedrooms faces the street that direction, and the other one is all the way down the hall that way. It's got laundry as well. Kitchen also looks like it's got everything the other apartment's kitchen had. Even the wine fridge, which I'm not sure I'd use, except for maybe waters or something. Not a bad place, but even if there's no second lockdown, you still might be spending a lot of time here. And that's because remote work and remote learning are something that hasn't really shown any signs of going away. Big companies like Microsoft, Twitter, and other tech companies are allowing their employees to work remotely. And colleges like NYU are doing what's called a blended learning environment, where there's like an in-classroom orientation and then pretty much everything else is online or remote. And if something like this is going to be your office where you're not only sleeping but spending 8 hours a day working or studying, is this going to be enough space for you? This larger bedroom's 9 feet 4 inches by 8 feet 6 inches, and this back bedroom is 6 feet 7 inches by 9 feet 10 inches. The finishes and stuff here are nice, but this is not exactly a lot of personal space. And this isn't something that everyone is going to be able to put up with for most of the day, every single day, when it's freezing cold here and you can't really go outside or go to a restaurant or experience any of the things in New York City that have typically justified the high rent. So many New Yorkers in the past justified the high rent of living in the city because there was so much to do here and there were so many fun things that you could experience. But now, since all that stuff is closed and an apartment like this very well may be where you spend most of your time, it's not something that makes as much sense as it used to. If you're thinking of living here, you're gonna have to decide if the rent you're gonna pay is a fair trade for what the city is giving you over the next few months. If it's not, you should probably wait and see what happens. But if it is, you should definitely come here because the rents are so low. If there's an opportunity here that's worth it, you're gonna have access to that at a lower monthly rate rent-wise than you ever would have in the past. And for people in that situation, I think it's always a good idea to come here. But if you're on the fence, maybe it's something that you need to think about, because again, if all you're gonna be doing is working or learning remotely from an apartment like this, even though it's really nice, you might be better off saving all that money and using it towards something else in the future, like a better apartment or just anything else. And speaking of New York City apartments, check out one of these apartment tours right here, and I'll see you in the next video.